Hello and welcome back. Today we are talking about shoes. Well, mostly boots. I try and be as minimal as possible with this, but I love boots, I love shoes, I love learning about them, and well, they are more important than people give them credit. Um, we've talked about how to carry things, but like fanny packs and backpacks and all that stuff, but without good shoes, those things become more difficult to carry. And it sounds a little extreme, but it's true. If you've got a 20-pound backpack and you're hiking around in shoes that hurt your feet, that 20 pounds is going to exacerbate that. So I'm pretty picky with my shoes, but I have a handful of different types of shoes for different reasons, and we'll just kind of dive in. I'll kind of just quickly go through them and tell you what I do and don't like about them, and maybe their use case and why they are in my collection, I guess. Uh, I like to only have one pair of shoes per like category, but there may be some possible crossover. I just have them because I either already had them or they fill a very specific niche. So we can start off with the shoes I wear mostly. They are actually all leather Lems boulder boot. They're the waterproof version. I've had these for a couple of months. I really like these because they're very lightweight. They're the zero drop shoe. They're comfortable. They still perform as a boot. I've done some woodwork and some hiking, even camping, that type of thing. So they work really well as a boot. I actually am pretty lazy and I don't typically tie them up. But quality wise, so far they're pretty good. And it's definitely pretty good leather. Not the greatest. The only thing I don't really like is I don't really like how they finish the inside. I don't even know if you can really see inside, but there's no counter cover, and it's the waterproof membrane, but that seam is right in the middle. And I guarantee you, after good use of this, that is going to that's going to go away. I mean, that's going to split, and essentially that is going to make these no longer waterproof. And then there's that extra layer in there making the rest of my feet sweaty, my foot sweaty, and doesn't give you the benefit of the waterproof. But they're super flexible, very lightweight, and they're easy to slip on and wear. It took me a little bit of time to get used to the zero drop. I've had zero drop shoes before, but they weren't my everyday shoe. But these have been my everyday boot for several months, and I really like them. Uh, it's still out whether or not they're super durable. They do have a glued construction, cemented construction, and I've had cement construction even on higher quality boots fail pretty quick, especially if you kind of put your feet up near a fire. Even remotely close, that glue, that cement can actually fail. It'll dry up and it'll crack away, and then your sole will fall off. Um, this was the closest thing to a zero drop mock toe that I could find that was affordable and all leather. So yeah, I like them. They're good. Next are my more dedicated work boot. These are actually from a company called Rock Rooster, but you'll notice a very similar look and feel to a company called Blundstone. So I actually can't tell a single difference between the Blundstone versions of these and these. Except for the price. The leather seems to be the same. The stitching, the actual construction is almost identical. I honestly can't tell a difference. This too has that kind of membrane on the inside because these are waterproof, but these aren't going to be waterproof anyway up here because that's elastic. Water's just going to go straight through that. So it's really only waterproof if you spill a little bit here, kind of step in it, and it comes up to about here. So but these have been good work boots. I like that they have this kind of, it's not a steel toe. It's not even a composite toe. It's just like an extra rubber layer. And there actually is leather underneath this. I watched a video of somebody kind of deconstructing this a little bit, and there's leather, it goes all the way, and then they put this rubber cap toe on top. It does a good job. They're a little heavy, so if you find yourself like need to step quickly, these kind of like slip off your feet a little bit just because of the sheer weight, but they've been really comfortable. I've done a lot of yard work in these. I've actually gone camping in these as well. I wouldn't hike in them. they're a little they're a little clunky for that. If you're doing maybe a mile or two max, then maybe you can get away with it. But I wouldn't do more than that. They are very comfortable, very soft, very squishy. The insoles in these are extremely comfortable. They have like a memory foam insole in them. It's like this Cool Max. I don't know. This Cool Max. It's got this pad here, and I don't know, but whatever they do it right. This is one of the higher quality insoles I've ever seen come from factory in any shoe. I've only had one other pair of boots come with like a memory foam style insole, but these have been fantastic. And honestly, for their price, you can't really go wrong for a decent work boot. Again, though, no counter cover. The only difference this time is the seam. It's not like a seam directly. So I can imagine these wearing out, but it's going to take a lot of abuse. This elastic is pretty stiff as well. Good quality elastic. Yeah. Also, very good kind of step and go work boot. The next boot are actually Blundstones. But these are their fancier Blundstones. I've had these for a couple of years now. These used to be my everyday boot. I like they're a little fancier, a little dressier. But the issue is they don't really have lugs. They're a little slippery. And if I do want to keep these semi-clean for somewhat formal dress up, it's kind of tough to have a boot that both looks very clean all the time, but also is able to be worked in. But the biggest downfall to this was the lack of grip and lug. And you can't really stand in these all that long. There's not a whole lot of cushion between your foot and the sole, and you can't really add a cushioned insole because these are kind of narrow and thin, so it's going to really make your shoe real tight. So very comfortable though. I mean, otherwise, if you're not doing heavy work or anything, they're comfortable. They're definitely good quality leather. This is I think their nubuck leather. I've waterproofed this a couple times, so this isn't just faded. This is just the way the leather looks. But even used, these look cool, and they're fairly lightweight as well. The sole has quite a bit of wear on them in terms of like man hours, but they've held up well. I've got a couple here. I wear these as my motorcycle boot mostly as well, or semi-casual, like semi-formal outings, going to dinner with the wife or going to fancier birthday parties where I can still wear jeans or chinos or something. But yeah, I actually cut the tabs off, which is probably what most of you noticed first, is I could not stand the tabs on these. There's no need for that on these guys. So I cut them off, and now they look a lot sleeker, a little bit fancier. And when you wear tighter jeans, they don't stick out. But yeah, very good boots as well. I actually found these on Facebook Marketplace for a deal. That's really the only reason I have them. If they were full price, I probably would not have bought them. But I got them at about 50% of price, and they were brand new. I should have looked for a size up. So these are technically 9.5s. I actually wear 10.5. But these are, I think, European sizing. So this is a US 9.5. I did that because of slip-on. I've got narrower feet, skinnier feet, so slip-ons typically are run pretty large. But these ones, so I got down. So maybe if I did have a properly fitted boot, I could put a thicker insole in, and that would fix the issue. I don't know. But as is, they're still really good. I definitely recommend Blundstone as a boot in general. I think the quality is there. The value is there, the construction is there. You'll have them for years, even if you use them for every day. I do like I think they're 501 maybe. Their regular boot that has like the normal lug style on the bottom, not the dressier shape. I like the squareness of these. If they had the actual work lugs like the normal ones, I think these would be a little bit more my thing, but they work well. Definitely recommend this style or the original. Both very good. Blundstone's good. The elastic's good. But like I said, very similar build quality as the Rock Roosters. So if you need something a little bit more budget, those are good. Last pair of boots I have are for winter. And these, I'm only going to put one up on here because they're big. But these are the Bates military. I actually got these military surplus, all suede, very heavy canvas. I actually waxed the canvas on these to make them more waterproof. I don't know why I did that. I think it was just because I was getting a little into the the waxing right away. But these are actually Gore-Tex, so they would have been waterproof regardless. The only thing is they're waterproof on the other side of this canvas, so this canvas still soaked up water like nobody's business, which is probably what led me in my thinking to try and waterproof this to prevent water from seeping in anywhere. This was already waterproof. The suede was already waterproof. This wasn't, so I just waxed this, and now it prevents water from even soaking into the canvas. These are very heavy. These are kind of those those boots that, like, if you can only have one boot to do all the things, this may be that. But they're very heavy, they're very stiff. I've had these for a year and a half and wore them primarily during winter or colder seasons. I have hiked in them, not recommended. They're real stiff for that. I got blisters pretty quick, but they are sturdy as hell. They're very well built. They're very durable, full Vibram sole. I mean, like I said, Gore-Tex, all leather, metal, eyelets, everything. Pretty stiff toe. I don't think there's actually a composite toe in here, but it's very stiff. I mean, if you drop something, your toe is pretty protected unless you do something like ridiculous of 100 pounds or more. The only real big complaint I have is these laces are horrible. I think this is like a speed lace idea. They're like, I don't know, it almost feels like sandpaper. It's very rough. So when you pull it tight on your hands, maybe I'm just complaining, but it actually is real tough, real rough on the hands, because these are very rough. It feels like little strings of sandpaper. But other than that, they've been really good boots. And I bought these surplus. They were brand new, but they were still military surplus for $40. If you find a pair of these for $40, pick them up, because honestly, you can't go wrong. These are awesome heavy duty, both warm and waterproof boots. They do actually make a pair of these that are more summer, and they don't have the liner. They're not waterproof. They're just kind of like the canvas and the leather with drain holes. And that's how you would determine whether or not they're the winter version or the summer version, is they have drain holes here for water, ventilation, and sweat and all that. So if I had to go back and choose a different pair, I probably would get the summer ones and then just waterproof the exterior. That way my foot can breathe a little bit more, and maybe it would lighten up a little bit, be a little bit more flexible. But for the price, these have been awesome. Now, going into the only, I guess, more sportwear that I have is like sandals and tennis shoes. I only own one pair of sneakers, and they're the Cascadias, Cascadia 13s, the Brooks. I have mixed feelings on these. They're not that comfortable. They're not that light. They actually don't even really sit all that well. I feel like my foot sits really far forwards, and there's like a huge gap back here. It could just be that my foot is weird or narrow and it slides forwards, but even when I snug these down with like the runner's tie, where you kind of like slip it through here, right? And it creates this loop, and then you can use that to tie against, and it really tightens this down a lot, and it gives you a real snug, you can see that, and you do that to both sides, and it kind of gives you a real snug, non-loosening knot. Still, it feels like there's a gap. I would not recommend these, or if you do get them, try them on first. I've only put maybe 150 miles on these, and they are already falling apart. I have not gotten that much wear. They look brand new. I've hiked in them a couple of times, done some backpacking, but this is kind of ridiculous. I would go with something a little different. Maybe Solomon's or some type of approach shoe. But they're not waterproof. They're breathable. And this, the kind of rubberiness here is pretty cool, but I got them on sale again. I'm kind of a frugal guy, and I thought I'd give them a shot. They were replacing an old pair of slip-on Adidas, which were not purpose made at all. So, yeah, I mean, they're okay for what they are. I got them for a good deal. I think they're worth what I paid, but I don't think I would pay brand new price for these. I got them in an REI garage sale, slightly used, but still, they were brand new. There was no wear on them at all when I got them. So they do dry out pretty quick though. I do have to give them that. I've worn them in rain or mud, and I've rinsed them off and they dried out pretty fast. This is pretty breathable mesh. The sole is actually pretty good. I like that it's a flat and there's no dip. I like that it's completely flat. It gives a lot of structure to the arch inside. So, I don't know. They're okay. And the last pair of shoes I own, I don't know if you want to call them shoes, but they're actually just a kind of athletic, like a sandal. These are Montbells. I don't remember the actual model of these. I bought them from the Montbell website. They're pretty good. They've got a pretty thick rubber on them. I've not done a ton of hiking in these, but I've worn them out and about during summer, went on walks and stuff with them. They are very comfortable. This, though, absorbs water and sweat like a sponge. So I don't know if you necessarily want to wear these in water all the time, because I feel like at some point that's not going to be okay. But this is just one strap that goes across, and then you have the auxiliary straps kind of slipping through here and here, which all have double stitching, very good quality. If you know Montbell, you know they're good quality. And then the Velcro here is for sizing. So they're good. I guess they're kind of like the Teva sandals. They have a couple of different ones. They have the one with like the super thick, no, those are Chacos. The Teva sandals, yeah. So they're very similar to that in terms of their styling and all that. They're a little bit lighter weight because the Teva, I believe, has more rubber. These are foam and then the rubber outer. But yeah, these have been good. I like these a lot. I can't give you a definite or kind of a finite answer on these ones yet. I want to put them through a little bit more of their paces, but in terms of like a sandal that you can hike in or everyday sandal where you can walk in and do all that, they're very comfortable. They stay very tightly on your feet. And yeah, if you're a sandal guy or a sandal gal and you kind of like this style of sandal, I definitely recommend these Montbells. I think the Tevas would be perfectly fine too, and I think they're about the same price point. I just kind of liked the look, the rope, kind of super simplistic, minimalist look to them. There's other hiking specific sandals, but yeah, these have been good so far. And that's all my shoes. I might have a pair of dress shoes around here somewhere, but it tells you how often I use them. May not have them anymore. I don't even know. And other than that, my quick go-to outside are either I slip on the Rock Roosters or I slip on the Montbell sandals. Otherwise, that's it. That's my shoes. Those are the things that support me when I walk, when I work, when I hike, when I do all these things. That's what supports me. Let me know if you have any experience with these, good or bad. Comment and let me know. Or if you've never heard of them or have questions about something specific regarding the shoes or boots, happy to help, and I'll link what I can in the description. So, all right, until next time.